this bike is godsend. Yamaha is Jesus right now.
2023 Yamaha XSR900. This amazing 120 horsepower, 65 foot-pound of torque triple that might kill the 600 class. How is this bike to ride as a naked? And also, since the Yamaha R9 is really right around the corner, is this engine, this frame, this chassis good enough to beat a true super sport? Let's go on a ride today, find out. But first, we need to talk about just how this bike handles around a corner at slow speed, just cruising, because obviously this new triple super sport class is meant to be comfortable and fast, but comfort comes first over speed, so we'll talk about it first.
Very first thing I noticed just coming in here, everything on this bike feels light and smooth, man. The throttle response is awesome. The seating position doesn't upset me. There's like nothing that sticks out as wrong or weird or different. You just sit on in it and it's like, it's comfortable. It's just like, I get it. This makes sense.
And this is the seating position on the bike. I'm 5'10", obviously fairly upright, hands lean forward, 90, a little bit more than 90. I think that this Corbin seat's a little bit further back than the factory seat, but pretty good ergonomics. Obviously, I can flat foot, heel on the ground, no problem at 5'10".
Let's take it around this neighborhood for some slow speed stuff and see how it handles. Nice and easy, nice and slow. Maneuvering this bike, all the inputs are easy. It's a light clutch, it's a light brake lever on the front and the back. It does not take a lot of throttle input, and kind of the theme of this video is going to be like, is the R9 gonna be good? Because essentially it's going to be this bike with a little bit sportier frame and a little bit sportier bar setup, yada yada. But essentially, like, is this engine chassis combo good enough to justify and kill a 600? And in this low speed stuff right here, where all we're doing is going through a neighborhood, avoiding some children on bicycles, yes, 5% throttle, 10% throttle keeps this quiet, keeps it moving. It's so effortless. Like, the clutch is easy. Like, this bike is just very easy to handle and significantly less aggressive than like a 600cc sport bike. But it still has the little bit of grunt, man. It has good power down low. As far as comfort sitting here, traffic comfort, that kind of thing, it's light, it's easy to handle back and forth, it's very comfortable, long travel suspension. I'm not feeling much of these little bumps. We'll go a little bit more detail into that later on, but right here, right now, slow speed stuff. The bike is light, the bike is nimble, the bike is easy to handle. Yeah, it's peppy. I mean, you start getting acceleration as low as like 4,000 RPM, 3 to 4,000. It has like a little bit of go. I know it revs all the way to almost 11, but that 3 to 4,000 mark is usable in traffic. And then you flip it back here, whee, and off we go. Yeah, I hate to say it, but you guys know that the 600s are going to be dead after this.
And even though this windscreen doesn't look like the biggest thing in the world, it actually feels like...
At 55 miles an hour, 6th gear, cruising, this windscreen is awesome. It's blocking everything from about right here. I get a clean gust of air in my head. I don't feel anything on the chest. It's honestly, the wind coverage is amazing.
One of the cool things about the XSR900, it has these awesome upside down 43mm forks, which the front travel is that much. We have rear travel of about that much. Fairly standard for a naked bike.
Oh man, and the suspension on this thing is so comfortable and responsive, man. It just like hits the bumps, absorbs it, gets you into place. It has the cushion, it rebounds, and it holds. It's so nice. There's no oscillation, there's no back and forth bumpiness. It's like one solid and that's it. It takes the bump, it absorbs it, it puts you back up, and then you're in the spot where you need to be for the next one. It's very, very quick, very fun and easy to ride. And even this, man, look at that. Whoop. The bike just lays and comes right back up. This is probably one of the easiest bikes to bring back up off of a turn that I've ever ridden. Usually when you go deeper and you try to come back up on certain machines, they're pretty resistant to how quickly you come back up. This isn't. Like, you can lay it down and then come right back up and just go whoop, and it's there. And cruising here over this rough patch of asphalt, the bike eats it all up, man. This is a great bike. This bike is a great all-around motorcycle. Put a little bit of storage on it, maybe a taller screen for touring, but as it is right now, it blocks more than enough wind. Dude, this is a awesome package of a machine, man. Awesome package. I could ride this bike for hours. Tech!
Now, out of all the MT inspired nakeds, this and the MT-09 have essentially the same tech package, which is basically everything you could want and need. We have a Brembo master cylinder right here, start, stop, and a little bit of scrolling through the menu so you can see which little settings you are clicking through. That's about it for the right side. Brake side, we have clutch, rider modes, up and down through the menu, high, low beam, turn signals, horn, hazards, and cruise control built in on this model, which, as you know, I used it on the ride. It is awesome. Now, as far as the screen is concerned, it is bright and clear. Personally, the only gripe that I have is the fact that you can see the edge of the screen is right here, but the actual screen real estate is a lot smaller than what you physically see. So when it's off, you think it's a big screen, and then all of a sudden you turn it on, you realize it's a little tiny. It's clear, you can see it, there's no issues with it, it's fairly responsive, it's bright, light didn't bother me in any way, shape, or form. Sun's kind of behind me, as you can see on camera. But I do wish that it was just a little bit bigger of a screen, comparatively speaking, to the real estate that they provide. And then we have these awesome dual 4-piston calipers. Rotors are this big right here. And again, 4 pistons times 2, which, by the way, they feel like...
The brakes are good. They're firm. They have a nice pull to them. They're very consistent. They don't have much sponge in the front end. It's pretty direct, and you know exactly where you are. You pull in, you have a little bit of light effort, it increases in effort. The second you actually start engaging those pads, it has great feedback. This Brembo master cylinder does the job.
And you see this 3-into-1 header, nice Leo Vinci pipe, exhaust out the back, which sounds amazing. Actually, it sounds like... this engine. The engine on the XSR900 is amazing. It makes about 120 horsepower, exact number right there, and about 65, 70 foot-pounds of torque, exact number right here. But if this thing is gonna go in an R9 and kill the 600 sport bike class, it needs to have the mid-range power that 600 is lacking. And here's what I thought while we were out riding.
All right, mid-range acceleration, taking off in the middle here. Oh God, 5 to 7,000. This bike is fast. This bike is fast. That was effortless and easy, and there was no frills. It just did it. 5 to 7,000 mid-range RPM accelerating. It has torque. It has mid-range. It has, this particular bike actually was dynoed, 113 horsepower, and it has 63 foot-pounds of torque. That's more than enough for the weight of this bike, man. That is light and easy. And even here on the side of the tire, it's just like, it's just so effortless, man. But as we're mid-speed cruising here, one of the crazy things is this: 50 miles an hour, 6 gear, 3,000 RPM. A 600, you would need to pin it full throttle and give it time to accelerate and rev at 50 miles an hour in 6th gear at 3,000 RPMs. We all know that. And this is what happens when you do that on here. You start accelerating. By the time you get to 4,500 RPMs, you're actually accelerating. That's crazy. That's beautiful. But the big question is, how does it feel up top? Are you losing power at the top end? Is it not gonna have power at the top? And I haven't revved it past 7, so we'll find out here in just a minute.
But the mid-range isn't enough. It has to have top end. And this particular bike is dyno tuned, and I have the exact numbers. It made 113 horsepower to the rear wheel and 65 foot-pounds of torque. This bike being tuned, unlocked, is it everything that you want in a 600 class? Does it have that top end bite? And here's what I thought when I went full send on this machine.
2nd gear, 30 miles an hour. Let's see, quick shifter too. Dude, that doesn't die at the top. That doesn't die at the top. That makes great power. Holy crap. Let's see if I can get it back and forth. 5,000 RPMs. It's pulling harder, 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 harder. Shift. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. As far as the XSR900 is concerned, great power. It gives you solid, consistent increase all the way from about 4,000 all the way to red line. It's not surprising. It's not peaky. It doesn't catch you off guard. What you get in the low end continues to build all the way to the top. This triple is absolutely amazing. As far as 600s are concerned, yeah, they're dead. They're dead. If Yamaha can make the R9 have a little bit more top-end power than this, to where maybe the cam profile's a little bit different, or it has just an extra tiny bit more power, maybe 10 or 15 more horsepower at the top, it'll be 100% 600 fast. This can keep up with a 600 because of the power delivery and the mid-range and how it carries, but it's not faster at the top, right? It doesn't have that bite that a 600 does at the very top, but it's equally as fast. If they can give it an extra 10 or 15 horsepower over what this XSR900 has on the R9, holy God, 600s are truly dead. There's absolutely no reason at all to own a standard inline 4 600 when you have a bike like this, outside of the fact that you just like to hear it scream, because this thing is fast and it's comfortable.
So enough talk about the R9. Let's just talk about this bike, the XSR900. After riding it, after thinking about the suspension, the brakes, how it handles as a machine, this bike is awesome. Here's what I thought in general after riding specifically about the XSR900.
All right, power! Dude, this bike eats! This bike eats, bro! What? Oh man, dude, I can't. This is an awesome package. Final thoughts on this machine is this bike is godsend. Yamaha is Jesus right now. Final thoughts on this machine. This bike it's almost perfect. I can't lie, it's almost perfect. It has a great mid-range, great top end, awesome power delivery. It looks good. The blue, the gold accents with the black. It has a nice little digital display, easy to see, it's bright, the sun doesn't bother me. The sun's right behind me and I can still see it. I honestly think this is a perfect machine. It's comfortable, it's fast, it goes, it stops, it turns, it's light. I mean, it's easily approachable to a newer rider in terms of how light it is, how easy to maneuver it is. Obviously, you got to turn the power down, but like, you can't ask for anything more in a motorcycle outside of dedicated specific use. This is a great bike. Thank you, Yamaha, and I am so excited for the R9. I am so excited for the R9.
Thank you guys for watching. If you're interested in checking out another middleweight naked bike that also happens to be a triple, check this video out right here. Thank you guys for watching.